Alright, so this is Humvee. We're going to replace the seals on the X doors. These are X doors with supplemental armor, but you can see they get the X inside. These are the factory type military doors that come on these vehicles. As you can see, the seal is taking a crap here. It's all falling apart. Now the original seal here, it's ribbed, it's pretty much square, and it's got a barbed raised section. It pushes into this channel all the way around. So if you try just pulling it off, it basically just rips and destroys itself. I've gotten a little bit of this out before, like prying it out, but it's a pain in the ass to get it out. They do sell this same seal new, so you can replace the seal with the same exact seal that you already have, or you can use this style seal. It's a bulb style seal, I believe they call it. 3M tape on the back of it. You get it off Amazon. There's the package. I'll try and put a link in the description for what I actually bought. Now, here's a door that's already done. It's all, you know, the glue kind of sucks no matter what, but it's staying on so far. So to do this, what you need to do on a warm day is you're going to need to take something like this or this with a good sharp new blade. And you're going to start somewhere on the door, and you're basically just going to lay it on there and go along and slice this part off the part that this part here off the part that's pushed in the channel. Once you do that all the way around, you're going to go back with the razor blade, and anywhere that there's chip paint or loose paint, you're going to want to clean that off. Then you're going to want to clean everything with acetone. Once it's dry, you can go back and start on the bottom here like this one is, and just peel back the adhesive and stick it on here and press it on as you go around. Don't peel off all the adhesive at once. It's not usually a good idea because it'll end up sticking to itself way better than it sticks to the door or anything else. It's just the way the adhesive tape is. So once you get all the way around and you get back to here again, you're just going to cut off the excess and put it on there. And the suggestion is, when you do any type of seals like this on any vehicles, is you want to do it when it's warm out. It's got to be at least 60-65 degrees to do anything, otherwise the adhesive itself won't stick. Like, the material you're sticking it to needs to be at least that temperature also, not just these seals. So we've got like a 65 or 68 degree day today. These I keep in the house so that they stay warm. And I've got the truck outside in the sun, so it should be warm enough to do. Now when you're all done, the doors are going to be hard to close, so when you're all done, you want to close the doors, and you want to try and leave them closed. I mean, if you got to move the vehicle or something like that, leave it in the sun, leave the doors closed a couple days, a week, whatever. I'm not saying don't drive it and stuff, just don't leave the doors hanging open with the new seals on there, because the seals do have to seat. They do have to somewhat break in, I guess you could say. I've seen these same seals for sale on one of the vendor sites, maybe multiple vendor sites, and they are very expensive. I think these off Amazon, the same seals, it's like $10 a door it costs you to do it, basically. Something like that. Like I said, I'll try and link it in the description. Oh, okay, it did pause. Good. Okay, so now if you take just a clean, brand new razor blade, you really don't need the tools. I mean, you could do it with just a razor blade. The tool might make it a little easier, but I don't know if you can see that. See how clean that is? Because basically all I'm doing is I'm taking the razor blade and I'm guiding it along this channel here. And here, pull on this. Pull on that while I do it. It's hard to record and do this at the same time. So basically you're just going right down and it slices it right off. Easy peasy. And it also takes off quite a bit of the loose paint. So like this here, that's a perfect example of what's wrong with the old seal. It's old and it's hard as a rock. So, like I said, holding a camera and doing it, not as easy as using both hands. But I'm gonna have to go back, probably clean this up a little better, but
get the general idea.
So this is what you're left with. You're left with that center part pushed in there, and it's actually, I think when it's sliced, it actually, this pulled back up into the door jamb, and it gives you something a little more for the adhesive to stick to on the new gasket too. Okay, so this is all cleaned off. We've scraped all the paint off down to the black anodized that's on the aluminum. Now this piece here is really loose, so we're going to take this opportunity to drill out the 2 pop rivets and replace them with new pop rivets. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, the Humvee uses 3/16 rivets. So this rivet here is 3/16 by 1/2 inch. It sticks out just a little bit, just enough where it's going to grab it and pull it back together. You could use a longer one, I guess, if you wanted to, but as you can see from the one below it, there's really not a lot of excess sticking out there. So we ended up pulling this top panel off here, because even with new pop rivets, it was still loose, and we crimped it shut a little bit. So this shows you what the inside of that seal looks like, where the original seal was pressed into the channel, and that's why it's such a pain in the ass to remove. And when you look inside the channel, it's actually machined to be the same shape as what that gasket is, so the gasket won't pull out. So that's what the 1/2 inch rivet looks like reinstalled. Basically the same as the other rivet that's there. Now other parts on here are loose too, but they're not really crazy loose like that piece was. So we're not going to go along and take all of this off. This door needs to be rebuilt anyway, because the glass is delaminated, and this channel, I had to buy a replacement channel here, this lock channel that the knob holds the window up, because right there it's shot. You hit bumps enough times and the damn window falls down. So I actually have to keep a block of wood wedged in here so that the window doesn't randomly fall when I'm driving. Unfortunately, to do that, these doors have supplemental armor, so all the rivets on the outside of the door have to be removed. The latch assembly has to be removed.
Hinges have to be removed.
Yeah, the hinges have to be unbolted from the door. So you basically have to take the door off and you have to lay it on something and fully disassemble the door to get this piece out. Because I have the armor. If you didn't have the armor, you probably could replace that piece pretty easily because it's just pop riveted through the Kevlar. Unfortunately, I didn't show you putting it on, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna, you peel it back. You're gonna want to start at the bottom around where the seam was on the old seal and work your way around. Now, you don't want to stretch it as you're putting it on, and this doesn't seem to want to stick too well, so I'm going to have to get it stuck on there and get the door shut. Don't pull it as you're going, just lay it on there and press it against the door. If you start pulling on it, trying to pull it taut, you're gonna stretch it and then it's gonna not want to stick at all. It's gonna want to shrink back down to its proper size. So when you're all done, you should have that much left over if you buy what I end up putting in the description link. And that's a front door, and this is enough to do the back doors also. So hopefully this is helpful.